Hello everyone, how you doing today? Today is a special day because we're gonna continue reading The Seeds by Mikeellee. I hope I'm not butchering that again, but that's what I'm gonna call it. That's what I'm gonna call you for now. I hope the sound goes very well. Let me just do a quick around the clock test, just to be sure that everything is fine. Yeah, but the song is not good, is it? So we're gonna mute this. And I'm gonna find this. Okay, don't we have a more clear sound? I think we had this one. Maybe this one? No. Is it? I'm gonna do a quick checks around here. I don't know why. Well, I changed the format. No. This is yeah. Let me just catch I should have a pretty song. Not beach disco. No. Have something. Where is that one that I have it? Dull. I had a better song prepared for this that I used to use in my previous streams. It was a pretty spooky sound, and I do know that this is a pretty spooky thing. Oh, Fusion of Doll. One is it? Alright, let me just add the source. Just have to find it. Damn, I didn't prepared. Oh, I didn't prepare, didn't I? No. Well, I didn't quite prepare to have a stream today, but here I am, just preparing to read. Until then, oh no, I almost found it. This is a little different. Because alright. Done. I'm gonna put it lower. Let me just hear how it sounds. It should sound good. This one should be it. Alright. Let me get to that live one. Did this one? it's not that. Oh, it's Tibet. Sorry, I mistook this song. I'm just gonna put it right now. Fusion of Dawn. Yeah, I'm just gonna remove this one and just exchange it with this one. Alright, this should be it. This should be awesome. Let's go ahead and read it. Gonna do another quick check just to be sure. Yeah, that's the one. Alright. Alright, I used to use this when Piranha-chan started appearing. But yeah, let's go and read. Let's go ahead and read The Seeds, Chapter 2, Part 2. Summary. Not sure if all weakened elements here are 100% correct. If not, let me know. So let Mikeellee know if they are not correct. Since this is a fictional setting where magic is pretty much real, this could give me a leeway, but if I did anything who may come across as disrespectful to the Wiccans, let me know. Really, I want to learn. I got all my infos here from the internet. So don't get mad if something's not right. Alright. If we remembered correctly, there were two girls. One of them was an actress. I think her name was... we'll just see soon. But she was not the one that won the trip to Canada, to Brosco. It was the other one that was famous, that lit a car on fire. That's the one. And the other one, she was not famous as her sister. So she just went to Brosco and they married and they had kids. Each of them married separately and had kids. Alright, this is a summary, just 101. So let's start. Let me get my... mood. The parking lot is crowded as usual. The air is getting thinner by the minute, and all Candy can think, among the big number of people around, is how the only thing in Candy's mind keeps repeating and hammering in her mind without taking a break. I have no time. I need to find it. I have no time. I need to find it. And ended up stumbling one of the figures who only stare at her. Soon all eyes are on her smaller and weak form. They are all waiting, wishing and hoping for something that Candy is not able to see. I have to find... She spoke in a dry and rough tone as her eyes are peering to all the eyes. The air is getting thinner and Candy can't stand up anymore. I need to find it. Those words are repeated as a plea, and the people and eyes are gone now. Now Candy is on a small beach, or maybe it was a lake. Whatever the case is, all her eyes can see is red. The water is covered by crimson liquid, like my hair. She walks slowly towards the bloody water and sees a figure in a relative distance from Candy. Did I succeed? Are the eyes still on me? As the mysterious figure continues, not moving an inch. She wants to see its eyes. Show me! Show me! Her tongue clicks in her mouth and she stops in her track as one of her teeth falls from her mouth, still covered in blood or water. Then comes another, until there are no more teeth left. There's an urge to scream. I have no mouth, but I must scream. Finally, the figure raises its head and is close enough to the girl who could see its crimson eyes. I was waiting for you. And then she can see the smile, which is similar to the same smile above in the sky, gazing, peering and leering at her. I see. Brown eyes snap open as the vision is slowly adjusting and registering in the brain. The image of the white ceiling is a constant reminder of her reality and how everything in her room has a place to be. Brown eyes focused on the many posters near the wall about her favorite book's saga in her and saw her healing crystals. The heart is still pumping her blood viciously as she recalls her nightmare. Another one. The tone is hopeless and Brown eyes shift from the posters to a picture in a photo frame made with seashells, with Candy Magalhaes and her wild red hair, and her best friend Isaac Summers. Okay, do your magic, Candy. Look at the photo. And she recalls this photo was taken a year ago at a party and how Isaac eat chocolate until he couldn't anymore and how ended up dirtying her dress. Happy New Year's from Candy and Seckle, she reads. She reads the words on a photo with a soft smile on her voice. Thank Hecate it works. The happy memory of that party is more than enough to take the hellish nightmare away from her mind and leave Candy smile at the memory of how many candies and chocolate Isaac and Candy got, and even their mothers were impressed by how much candy those two managed to get hands on. Now Candy is safer with me, and gives a cat like a smile. First, better brush my teeth. Her tongue is touching all her teeth and is happy to feel and even see all her teeth are in place. Another nightmare, nothing more than that. And is ready to start the day with her winter dress. The winter is coming. She had to recite this ancient meme and even posed in the mirror, letting her hair tied up in a bun as she finger guns at her reflection. I look too hot for the winter. Candy, levanta da cama agora. Her voice is a mix of loving and authoritative. Maria Magalhaes is... Alright, let me just try again. Maria Magalhaes' voice is easily recognizable even if you have met her once, and Candy giggles at this, stating she head lower to the kitchen. Their old cottage has 2 floors and 3 rooms, and the stair is always covered with glitter and draws, proving Candy's inability at art, or maybe art is subjective. Among the stair railing she saw a draw of her favorite character, Lila, and chuckles as the image is not very similar to the official image on the books. No one is too old or young to join a fandom, but I wish I could draw Lila better, and wonders if her mother ever had a fandom she was that invested to. The kitchen of the cottage is smaller but cozy and pans stewing as... Sorry, let me just get that because something got in my foot. The kitchen of the cottage is smaller but cozy and pans stewing something as Maria is cutting some herbs and humming an old song. Maria's body remains the same. However, her natural red hair is free and a bit longer and firmly tied in a bun. "You need a haircut, Mom," Candy replied, matter of fact, as she's now holding a jar of sweets and eating said sweets, making her mother exasperated at the notion. "How did you always find sweet? I hide outside the kitchen this time." And Candy offers her cat-like smile and replies, "Mom, Hecate graced me with a very strong power. Plus, you named me Candy. What were you expecting?" "Should have named you Rapunzel, in fact. You too need a haircut, young lady." Maria replies back in a good mood, "Nightmares?" And Candy nods, saying it was the same as before. "Hecate must be telling you something. Stop eating so much candy." "Never." And the sweet aroma of the herbs finally hit Candy, and the girl wonders if this is a potion to help someone sleep better. Valerian root? Who needs help with sleep? And Maria sighs, saying it was the same client as usual. Oh, people are that excited about the Red Festival? What's so interesting there? Orgies? The last question ears a chuckle from her mother and indignation from Candy. "No, just flowers. Everyone loves flowers. Our Hecate loves too." Her smile dies off as she goes to the small storage to look for some recipe for the sleeping potion. The festival in the next month. People love flowers. "Even crimson anemones?" Candy asked on the edge, as Maria is facing her back to her daughter again and is cutting a new herb. The woman nods. Candy asks again if her mother likes the Red Festival, and Maria just nods, and the conversation ends like this. "I need you to pick some rosemary for me, can you?" Maria inquires a bit too fast, saying how she's missing this particular herb, and Candy agrees happily. Do we need more eyes of a salamander? The question is cheeky and is an inside joke among two Wiccans. No, we have this herb in plenty number, but I need rosemary. For protection? Candy asked again without mirth. Is this because of the Red Festival? The tourists here can get a bit insane, and Brasco too. And Maria only nods now, facing her back to her daughter as she's cleaning a spoon. For protection for this stupid festival. Or is she hiding another thing from me? Candy is putting a spoon of honey in another pan as Maria is cutting some flowers. Not crimson in Brasco. Such rarity and so expensive, and is now mixing with the fresh lemongrass, also expensive in this city. Candy is now humming a modern song. So aside from rosemary, should I bring something else? An impish smile suggests she's thinking in something sweet. However, the smile dies as she notices her mother staring at the only window of the kitchen. On the second thought, better stay here. We can go another day. Rapunzels aren't that important. And Maria winced at such terrible lie. Candy stops on the small potion and sees what's behind the window. Max Calder is once again here. Grandpa is here! The silhouette of a man moderately tall with white hair and an unkempt beard and blue eyes that are too similar to Candy's own father is peering at the cottage from the other side with a grin on his face. You think Gramp wants? He trails off and Maria shakes her head. Maria goes to confront him, sighing again as she takes her time to open the door for a moment. Candy saw the expression of fear and anguish morphing into her mother's face only for a moment, because she opens the door and exclaims loudly and proudly. Hi, welcome to my house. Can I help you? Hi, Grandpa. Hi, Grandpa. Candy follows suit, ignoring her mother's gaze to go back home. We're cooking, explains with a big grin in her face. The man ignores her and only pays attention to Maria, as his frown becomes prominent each second. Did Dad ever frown like this? Witch! He accused angrily and points fingers at Maria, who is sheltering Candy, who is not seeing the big deal of such predictable accusation. It's because of you my son is missing. You put a spell on him, and now you even have the house. It was supposed to be his. This house belongs to the Cardell's family for generations, and you stole. The man accuses, and Maria is not surprised by how no one reacts to this scene. Maria's hands close into a fist and she prays to Hecate, Mother, Child, and the old dame, give me strength to face this situation with as much grace it can bestow a human being. We had this conversation already. Max, if you have a problem with the law, go bother the lawyers, not me. Your son, Candy's father, gave this house for me and my daughter. You made him do it. You stole him from me, he explains, breaking down in tears. You put a love spell on him and now my son is missing. And Maria inwardly curses herself because she'll have to speak about Jacques Cardell once again. Max, your son is dead. If you want to believe he found a pretty woman and ran away with her to Dreamlands or whatever, not my problem. It is my problem you accusing me now. Should I call the police again? And now she crosses her arms and takes her small cell phone out of her pocket and looking without falter at Max. The police have the right effect on Max, who rose from the ground. Which, you'll know what happens to those who mess with Brasco. And leaves, and Maria shakes her head at the poor and miserable man. Lost his son and then wife. Adeline Cardell was the only child of her family, and Max took her death the worst. In just a few seconds, I want to make sure, I want to drink some water also, but I want to make sure this is public. My throat. Just a quick break. It? Come on, come on. Yeah, it is. It's alright. If it's public, it's alright. I hope you can see this. Mikeellee. Mikeellee. Alright, let's continue. I will read again the last sentence so we'll know where we are. Lost. The police have the right effect on Max, who rose from the ground. Which, you'll know what happens to those who mess with Brasco. And lives, and Maria shakes her head at the poor and miserable man. Lost his son and then wife. Adeline Cardell was the only child of her family, and Max took her death the worst. Candy and Maria did like Adeline. She was a good woman, but Maria had a feeling she had regrets. Oh, Maria, you have no idea how happy I'm for you to be here. Maybe you will be a good sign for this city. I hope Candy can make this city into her home and wants to atone for something, and Maria never got the chance to ask. You think Grandma Adeline is sad for Grandpa Max? I think she would be looking out for us. That too? Yes. As soon it was deemed safe, the two Wiccans decided to go to the shop together. Maria holds tight Candy's hand as more posters of missing people enter her view, yet on Candy's side all she sees is the famous Crimson Anemones. They live in the south part of Brasco City, a part that is way closer to the marketing and the heart of the city. Yet this is a part that wouldn't be considered the higher class. Yes, every cottage and shop is an ancient building, mostly untouchable by modernity. Preserve the past to know your future. Candy stops to look at the crimson anemones. Mom, why Brasco has so many anemones? She asked, looking more at the flowers than to the concerning face of her mother. Well, didn't your school haven't explained this? Biology was never my strong point. Maria jokes back and Candy said, no one talks much about the famous crimson flowers. It is just to bait tourists. Candy, nothing more. Maria promised with her eyes that didn't reflect the same feeling in her smile. Can I take a flower to me? And there's no harm in taking one anemone. As Candy crouches down to collect some flowers when she looks up to the forest. Brasco and the forest have a harmonious relationship. No one invades any barrier and each tourist has a chance to take nice pictures of the green forest. Mom, the forest is calling me, is all she could say before she dashes away towards the forest, towards the clearing. The forest is calling me. Hecate, is this what you want me to do? The walk to the forest and into the clearing takes at most 2 minutes, and Maria reached to her daughter in record time. However, if the woman would scowl Candy, it will remain to be another day, as both women are looking at the boy, wearing a big dress shirt, having messy toffee brown hair, black eyes, skin too pale, feverish and sweating, and has eyes fighting to stay open. And is surrounded by blue anemones. The girl can't say she knew what she was doing. All she did was put his head on her lap and try to pick with him. For a moment, her bun untangled and her wild red hair is free, and it jolts Maria to action. Ele tá com febre? She mutters in Portuguese as she takes out from her pocket a small bottle with a blue liquid and manages to make the boy drink. Once Candy and Maria promise the boy is a remedy. It's okay. You're safe now. The help is on the way. This is a remedy, a natural medication from Hecate herself. The boy seems to believe or has no choice in the matter, as he took the liquid without a fuss and manages to keep his bloodshot eyes open. The ambulance was called and Maria can hear the sirens coming to their direction as she quickly hides the bottle. The boy looks at Maria and Candy and speaks one line. Obrigado e desculpa. Candy, next time don't run away from me, Maria replies once the boy is now with professional help. He has blue anemones. Amy Larson is the proud owner of the bookshop called Union and Books, a bookshop that has history intercalated with Brasco's culture for a very long time. The Larson opens this bookshop and is an heirloom. The shop has a green carefully selected to match the flag of Brasco, and no one ever dared to change. Why fix what's not broken? And this is a philosophy the Larson follows at heart. Why fix what's not broken? Amy and her mother have the same light pastel blonde color and wear the hair in the same fashion. Amy's nose is a bit longer, but in her eyes is more regal this way, and of course her eyes are grey as her father. A loud sneeze and an involuntary shiver announced to Amy the winter is coming and she could have bought a warmer coat. Brought a warmer coat, yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna read this again. A loud sneeze and an involuntary shiver announced to Amy the winter is coming and she should have brought a warmer coat. Being a Larson means living in the higher part of Brasco, and while it comes to some advantages in this area, in the end it draws a few setbacks as it's far away from where the beloved bookshop. I just need to take the bus and I'll be there in less than 10 minutes. Thankfully, Brasco's transportation is fantastic for Amy's needs. All she needs is to travel this road and wait for the bus. However, an unpleasant possibility presents in her mind and is one that makes Amy twist her pretty face in repugnance. The bus stop is a bit closer to Headmistress Lucia Carlom's house. Lucia is a woman whose house is filled to the brim with crimson anemones. Freak. Okay, maybe the old hag is not home. She has to have a life outside being the old hag of Brasco. As she waits on the bus stop, her mind reels as Lucia's voice can be heard muttering something in a low tone, and as much Amy prayed and hoped Lucia wouldn't notice her, sadly, she was, and now Amy must portray herself as a real Larson and engage in conversation. The image of Lucia is unforgettable for Amy. White hair perfectly comes in a nice hairstyle. Her face shows a few wrinkles to show her age, but nothing that could prevent Lucia to be considered pretty in a haunting way. Also, Lucia often towers over Amy, which makes any attempt of conversation somewhat a bit ghastly. Hello, Mrs. Carlum. She begins with a friendly tone, showing her white teeth proudly. The winter is coming at least, huh? Do you think this will change the Red Festival's schedule? Hope not. Global warming is a bitch. She stops as she looks between the flowers. Always crimson and then back to the bus stop where there's no bus yet. It won't snow for the festival. If we can be honest, which I doubt, this festival will have less and fewer people to attend. The weather is a curse we must all endure. Lucia's tone is dry and she looks at the flowers. My daughter liked some flowers. Now I can only show her anemones. Amy is polite if nothing else. I'm sure when your daughter comes back, you two will plant many sunflowers together. And Lucia's eyes snap back at Amy, who shakes her head slowly. And Amy is suddenly feeling dread, as the only thing dividing them is a white fence that is easy to kick. Don't you get it? This is the end. We're all going to be destroyed and I'll sit and watch this city be blown to pieces. And that would be the best outcome for us. The bus arrives and Lucia looks at Amy. Have a nice day, Amy. While you still can. Crazy old lady. No wonder her daughter preferred to go to a foreign than staying with you. The commercial side of Brasco only speaks of the Red Festival and how the winter could ruin or improve the attraction for tourism. Amy arrives in her beloved bookshop in record time and ignores all is not important to properly greet her 3 employees who share her love for books and this particular job. Good morning, Agatha, Amy states, smiling wide, showing her white teeth. Oh, it's essential for every good citizen of Brasco to have a good hygiene, and Agatha can't argue with this logic. Good morning, Amy. We're ready to open any minute. Just wait a second, I have to. Oh, I saw. Sorry about that. I have to take a quick break. I'll just, I don't know. I'll put something with be right back, and we'll continue in a couple of minutes. In 10 minutes, I have someone coming over, and I'll be right back. I'll just put this. Alright, sorry about that. Sorry about that. It was a little miscalculation on my part, on our both parts, but we're good now. And I hope you're still here. I hope you stretched a little, because I did. Drank some soda. And let's start to read again where we left off. With Amy coming into the bookshop, to her beloved bookshop, and greeting her 3 employees. "Good morning, Agatha," Amy states, smiling wide, showing her white teeth. "Oh, it's essential for every good citizen of Brasco to have good hygiene," and Agatha can't argue with this logic. "Good morning, Amy. We're ready to open any minute. How about right now?" It's a lame joke, but it gets a few chuckles, and the 3 employees open the doors of the beloved bookshop, who had typical clientele waiting for getting a new book. "Do you have a romance novel? Do you have thriller stories and horror?" All according to the schedule. Some exciting talks about the Red Festival here and there, but the conversation often comes back to the books. Agatha made a signal to Amy, who translates as, "I need to be the bathroom. Can you stay at the clerk for 5 minutes?" And Amy nods as Agatha is thankfully and dashes to the bathroom. As Amy is now the clerk for 5 minutes, she wasn't expecting much. Maybe the lady reading romance would made up her mind and buy the book, or would look for another option. Suddenly, a boy of 13 years old, with white skin, blue eyes and a boyish face, slowly losing the baby fat and entering into puberty. Will he be a handsome boy? And of course, blonde hair, just like his mother. Hope for his sake he didn't too pretty. "Hello, Isaac Summers. How can I help you?" she asked professionally. Being the son of the mayor does not mean he's above her other clients. Yet nothing is saying you need to be rude with the son of the mayor either. Isaac is putting his 2 fingers on his lips as if mocking a thinking pose. I want to do a trade." And take out of his package a book with a jaded cover that makes Amy frown at the state of the book. "I want to trade this book for the first book of The Adventures of Lila." And he points to the said book, who is behind Amy. Amy is less than impressed. "We don't do trades," and gazes at the aforementioned book for a moment. Wanting to replace an old book for another one that is more popular is typical of the youth. Plus, isn't The Adventure of Lila got an adaptation on Netflix? "Besides, haven't you read this before?" she asked, hoping she was not sounding rude. Isaac does not seem to mind. "Well, yes, but I want to read again. It is a good book," he informs with a boyish smile. "I want to know if is in this book where she killed the dragon. I forget." He confessed somewhat mortified, and Amy is still not seeing the appeal. "Your best friend can't lend you one?" She tries to negotiate with Isaac, and he shakes his head. Alright, I misread that. "Your best friend can't lend you one?" She tries to negotiate, and Isaac shakes his head. "And admit to her I forget a crucial detail." "And admit to her I forgot a crucial detail?" "Nope." Amy rolls her eyes and decides to play along. Okay, I accept the trade for you, and reaches to take the jaded cover book as Isaac sticks around to get The Adventures of Lila and goes to read the book happily. The space is not big, neither is small. It has an area for readers to enjoy their books in peace, and Isaac has a big smile on his face as he opens the book and reads the summary. Now he's reading the introduction, still smiling. Oh my God, Amy. It's too fast to register. All Agatha registered once she is out of the bathroom is Amy falling on the floor with her eyes completely white. Someone call an ambulance. Now! Alright, so... Oh my God, Amy! It's too fast to register. All Agatha registered once she is out of the bathroom is Amy falling on the floor with her eyes completely white. Someone call the ambulance! Now! Isaac is still on the first page, and now on the second paragraph. Mother will be pleased. And now Isaac is on the third paragraph with a big smile on his face. The ambulance arrives quickly and the paramedics are taking Amy to the hospital. Agatha is a mess as she's talking and trying to not cry as she explains what happened. I was in the bathroom and when I returned she was on the floor. A crowd formed around the bookshop watching as two paramedics are lifting Amy's body in the dolly as are ready to leave. Isaac is in the middle of the crowd when the First Lady of the city, Sophie Summers, with her blonde hair free and showing clear signals of being on the run. If she was supposed to address the situation with the others as the First Lady, then she acts as a mother first. Isaac, my little bird, are you okay? And the boy nods wordlessly, looking nervous at the direction where the ambulance was 2 minutes ago. Sophie offers a smile and lied swiftly. Don't worry, she'll be fine. It was excess of caffeine. She'll be fine. Isaac looks at her blue eyes, so similar to his own, and nods again. Okay, Mom, and notices his mom's nervous glance. Mom? Sorry, I was just... She changes the subject. You're getting taller. In a few years you'll be taller, just like your father. And Isaac rolls his eyes at that. Mom, he responds as he then remembers the book. I got the book. I told you they had a cope. Can we go to Candy's house? I want to rub in her face. I got the last cope of the book. Sophie bites her lips, tasting the lipstick, and decides to tell the truth. You see, my little bird, Maria and Candy are in the hospital. And Isaac is quick to freak out at this and demands to visit them and to ask if they're all right. No, they aren't hurt, Isaac. They found a boy in the clearing. The big painting is allocated in a way where everyone who enters the hospital's reception of St. Clement's can see the Hudson Bay and all Brasco's glory along with their neighbors. The hospital was founded in 1890 and still has roots of the French colony, looking at the names in French being used, such as receptionist and docteur, and has a mix of English roots as an image of Florence Nightingale is near the big picture of the Hudson Bay. Maria and Candy are holding the few shops they manage to acquire as they look at the clock in the reception. Maria's foot is tapping on the floor in a frenzied rhythm, and Candy is looking at Rapunzel. We had to buy food from Quebec. Again, is that normal? Well, it must be, right? Sheriff Duncan Dillon enters into their view, and Maria is frowning a little. The man is tall, has a fake tan skin, green eyes, a mustache, and often is seen with his notebook and often wearing his uniform in a pristine way. There's little change on a uniform along the years, and Brasco's color can be spot on his uniform and even in his items. And after concluded his chat with a nurse and his heads towards Maria and Candy, and is heading probably. Thank you for coming by, Miss Magalhaes. How the man said the surname is often laced with a thick accent and is always different from Maria and Candy's accent. I'm sure it must be really difficult times for your business. There's a leery tone here, and he writes down something. Besides, we both know you don't need to work anymore, let alone sell tea, right? His eyes are pissing Maria and only Maria. Max Calder did it again. Her tone is dry as her hand is holding her shop grocery carefully. Never stop gazing at his eyes. Never stop gazing at his eyes. Can you talk with the old man, because that's not the first time he disturbed my house and my family. Her eyes land on Candy for a moment, who is looking at Rapunzel as if she never saw one before. Avoid all the gazes. The sheriff writes down in his notebook. He tries again. Do you know the boy? And before you ask, yes, he's stable and in a much healthier form. His fever is completely gone before they even treat him. The doctor said it could have been dehydration. His eyes darken as he continues. I repeat, do you know this boy? She heaves and prays to Hecate in her mind. I never saw this boy before today. And the man writes again rudely, if you ask Maria. And asks something again with the same tone of before. He spoke Portuguese while conscious in the ambulance. Have you any connection to this boy in any way? He's not always a kid show up in the clearing. And no one will mention the blue anemones. I never saw this boy before today, and you're avoiding my question. Will you do something about Max Calder? He challenges, and once again he writes something and then replies in a finality tone. We're trying to get as much information in this case as possible. As for Max, I can't stop him to move, but I can have a chat with him to stop bothering you. But you shouldn't say. His eyes now land on Candy, who avoids his gaze, as she is so utterly fascinated by the floor and its design, has given no time for her to see the sheriff's eyes. Never mind. I'll talk with him, and you, please, if you do know something. The Sheriff Duncan trails off, finally putting his notebook on his pocket. I'll call you in record time. Promise. Maria makes a cross signal and doing the genuflection of Hecate that went completely lost to Sheriff Duncan. Candy then asks something before the man leaves. Wait. All eyes are on her again, and she gulps loudly, but she keeps a plastic smile on her face. What about the boy? Where is he? As I mentioned, he'll be fine, at least physically speaking. We're doing our best to find his family. I promise this. And with a short nod, from years of practice, the man leaves, and now Maria and Candy are finally alone. Maria hides her face behind her hands as she slouches down and breathes in as her tone is a bit weak and somewhat broken. That boy, many years ago, way before you were born, I gave your uncle a dress shirt just like the boy was wearing around his body. She stops and takes a deep breath again. I remember that once I did give him that shirt. I told him a joke and he laughs so hard he ended up spitting coffee on the shirt, and that stain never left. And that boy was wearing a dress shirt identical with the same stain of coffee. Ooh. Candy can only hold her mother's hand as she continues. When your uncle was going to that super rich and super famous club party or whatever, he was wearing that shirt. He died with that shirt. And I have to know this by his thousands of lawyers. Your aunt was wearing a dress she once borrowed from me, but never returned. And again, I heard that from her lawyers. And she finishes, slowly raising her hand. Oh. You think the boy is linked to us somehow? Candy remembers a few years ago, maybe it was 2 years ago, a Netflix documentary about João Magalhães, the famous soccer player who died too soon, and his talented pop singer sister, Marina Magalhães. To avoid any lawsuit, the documentary technically focuses more on the fans than the family, but still is something Candy has no idea on what to think. Let's go home, Candy, Maria suggests, giving no room to arguing. Candy does not want to think about her uncles, but reveals a bit embarrassed about how she needs to go to the bathroom, or else. Maria rolls her eyes. Fine, be quick. Quick is my middle name. No, it's Anna, she said, a bit amused at such reaction. And Candy chuckles as she takes the right turn toward the bathroom. While she does need to use the bathroom, Candy wonders if she could, just a few minutes, see the boy. Okay, let's do it. And she enters the empty elevator and presses the first button she saw, and the door opens on the 3rd floor where nurses and doctors are talking about cases or something else, and her feet are walking to room 303 as she opens the door. Hecate gives me strength. I'm way out of my element here. There's an IV attached to his armpit, and the boy lays down on the bed, and his black eyes are looking surprised and happy to see Candy's brown ones. Candy waves friendly and puts her finger on her lips to make sure he didn't speak too loud, to get the attention of other nurses and doctors. Hi. Hola. I mean, hello. Candy comes close. Candy comes as close as she can, letting her hand rest on the space of the bed where his hand is still at this very moment. My name is Candy. Are you okay? And the boy nods but offers a shy smile. As much one in my position can be. What's your name? Candy asks, concerned, as no one ever mentioned his name so far. The boy looks out for a moment, and his eyes focus on the only piece of art in this room. The painting is abstract enough to make the images sound like Adam. Adam. Oh, nice to meet you, Adam. And she tries again. Welcome to Brasco. Population 1000. And you now. She jokes, hoping to brighten the mood, and only stops when her right hand touches his cold hand. Do you know why you are here? Adam closes his eyes and slowly shakes his head. His mouth twitches as if wanting to say something, but at the same time refuses to say anything. Look, I know this is sudden and maybe your head must be full of questions right now, but I truly believe Hecate sent me here to find you. And I chose to want to be your friend if you want. There's a small smile on her face and as she gazes upon his black eyes on the verge of crying. Her hand is now intertwined with his. Adam's tone is a bit weak, but is strong enough for Candy to understand clearly. I have no idea why I'm here, nor if someone is looking for me, and I'd have many questions, but I want a friend, and you, Candy, seems like a good friend. His tone now is gentle, as her thumb is caressing his palm, which is getting less cold. Can I ask you something? Of course. Why am I here? Welcome to Brasco. Population 1000. He spoke calmly as the boy is making his questions. Welcome to Brasco. Population decreasing. Decreasing and decreasing. The higher part of Brasco has a history of the Larsum's legacy. Sorry, let me just try again. The higher part of Brasco has history, and the Larsum's legacy is well secure in their old house, with green fence and roses well. No more roses, but they have crimson anemones now, and the house is still a vision for the eyes of any artist or fan of the classics. Yet no more joy as Amelie Larsum and John Larsum got the news their only daughter is in a weird coma to put in layman terms, resulting in transfer Amy to a hospital to Toronto or to Quebec, but her chances of waking up are slimmer to none. John is not walking, more like dragging his feet as his hand nervously goes to the pockets in search of something. The key? Where is the key? He asked this 2 times until he turns to see Emily looking numb by the crimson anemone and asks, where is the key? The key, woman! He snaps, and now he got her attention. Her glittering eyes are on the verge of cry again, but no tear has left yet. The crimson anemone is new in this spot and she mentioned this to her husband. John asks for the key once more, losing his patience. The burn witch cursed out the town and our daughter is as good as dead. She's dead. Her tone is a bit muffled by her despair, but is enough to be understandable to John. Maybe that's our punishment. Maybe if we ask forgiveness for the burned witch, we will be at peace. Emily has a feverish smile on her face. Emily, our daughter is not dead. We just have to wait, hope and wish. We have to trust Titus Summers. His tone is cooler than needed, but Emily does not seem to mind. And Titus trusts himself to save his daughter. And where is Beatrice Summers? Oh right, dead. And she continues to smile wide. Take the key. Take the house. I have to apologize. I have to know the Burn Witch's name. Maybe Max Calder knows her real name. And runs off, letting the darkness engulf her figure, as only Larsum's house has any source of light. John got the key and all the crimson anemones. Alright. Pretty good, pretty good. This was it. this was it. All right, should we do some reviewing? Let's do some reviewing about the story. It's getting spookier. It was mentioned that it's gonna get spookier, and I knew it will start to get spookier. Again, there's some mistakes with using the times and the appropriate, let's say, words. Sometimes some of these words seem to be, they're beautifully put there, but their times are not accorded as they should. That's just a small mistake. I think that will go on in the editing phase. That would be just corrected. Now, what did we learn? We learned about the boy. I had a little trouble understanding the setting of Max Calder. Like, I read that he was... Maybe I misread something, or maybe I didn't understand something. It's totally possible, as I'm also not... as English is not my main language, but let's go with the but. When Max Calder came to their house, I didn't know people were around. I got an impression that there were people around, but I also got the impression that Candy and Maria were alone at home, and Max Calder came by, and at the sound of Maria calling the police, he just went out. And there's somewhere there with a little describing that people started to gather when they heard Max Calder calling her a witch. That would be just awesome. Now, again, I don't know how much Candy. It seems to show that Candy knows way too much, way too early. That her uncle died. And that her uncle died, that her family was with lawyers, and she just dropped this too soon. Maybe a little foreshadowing about how much Candy knows. She seems to know. She seems to know a lot. She seems to be very smart, and it does feel like they can talk with each other, and that's okay. It's not such a big thing. This is just one of the things I have. And the anemones, as you can see, I now know how to pronounce that word. And what else? I did enjoy it. I still enjoyed it a lot. It's getting closer. I guess these lines, when they change, you still have to figure out how to go between place A and place B, between characters and introducing them. That's alright. Showing and telling, as always, very good. You can show a little more sometimes. You can show more doing, actually. It's good that we don't find out what they're thinking about. That's what I like, because we're just a few glimpses of their thoughts, not everything, and that's awesome. There was a part, where is it? Let me just see. Yeah, right before the ambulance takes Amy, we need a little. Uh, Let me just see. The oh my god Amy thing like goes too fast. What happens with Isaac is still reading and then the ambulance comes, and was he still reading when the ambulance came and took her away? That could be a little improved there. But yeah, other than that, I do enjoy this story. I hope you're still writing. I know you're writing on the 3rd chapter, and that's awesome. Let's give it a kudos again. And also, I did enjoy the last part with the burned witch. You can add a little more tension, a little more lore in the in that discussion, you know, like how they where they were when they burned the witch or something like that. I don't know, maybe in the next chapter. I think I don't know why does he need the key? That's what I want to find out. And I think okay, let me just read again. Okay, so the key is important. I think this we'll find about this in the future. But yeah, it's the story is great. It's pretty awesome, pretty spooky. I hope I read it right. I had some problems because some of the words are not accorded. Their times are not really accorded, but and I had some problems reading them, but I also had some problems reading perfectly written words. So that makes us 1-to-1. But yeah, let me just see what else. The conversations are pretty good. The how she found the boy is, you can put a little more detail there. How she found, did she feel something, did she, how you, especially in the hospitals, you can walk, but there are areas where you can't enter, and actually you do not know where the room is. So was she drawn? If you can say that she was drawn to that room, that's awesome. That would be awesome. But other than that, I don't know how she could find room 303. I went to hospitals and it's hard to find the rooms there, especially if you don't know. It's hard to find the room even if you know the room number. That's what I'm trying to say. But other than that, it's a little okay. Sophie Summers. And yeah, I think that's all. We'll be looking forward to reading your story further. Just don't get something. Just don't sell out. Continue with it. Add more lore, add more action, conversation, everything you can. Add what you have added until now. Because it's starting to paint a picture here. But I think it will be long until it's done. But yeah, other than that, this was it. I hope you enjoyed this little reading of mine. It does help me read better, so okay. So this will be it. Yeah. Thank you again, Mikeellee, for sharing this story with us. You have it in the everyone, if everyone wants to read it, if they didn't understand most of what I said, there is always in the description down below you can find the link to the story, I hope. Let me just make sure it is. A link to the story. Yeah, it's linked over there. And I also need to give credit to Midnight Sun Broken Summers audio library release. It was the song that played in the background, but I will, where is the, but I will add. Okay. The credits. Okay. Just let me put the credits in. I think we can end with the previous song, the first song that I put it. And we'll just go. So if you enjoyed this, please don't mind to subscribe. It would be a good way for me to keep doing these readings. It will help me do these readings. Even though I read them badly, I still do them. And this way we can discover new stories that somehow else we cannot find. Oh, stop. All right. Okay, so I can make sure that the proper credits are given. And again, thank you, Mikeellee, and everyone that watched this live stream of me reading. I hope you did enjoy it. I hope it sparked some interest in your writing or in your editing, or in you just doing something while I'm reading. I'm sorry about that unannounced break, but yeah, sometimes they do happen. So yeah, I wish you have a good day. I'll continue to do my writing, no, my editing today. I'll be writing again tomorrow at 8 AM UTC. I'll wait for you there, and I hope you will have a beautiful, spooky, and creepy and Wiccan day. Goodbye, everyone.